Duty, honor, respect, you talked about that
Yes,
in
Senator.
your opening statement. On October 14th of this year, you went on CNN. I want to read you what you said, make sure I'm accurate. Here's what you said. President Trump is not like any sane leader. I'm very proud of General Milley for saying that President Trump is a total fascist. You think you're smarter than the American people, don't you?
A retired general walked into Congress to attack Trump, then John Kennedy hit him with his own words. This general went on CNN and called Donald Trump not sane, praised Mark Milley for calling Trump a fascist, and even claimed MAGA Republicans are fascists themselves. Then came the hearing. Kennedy reads every word back to him, live, under oath. No spin. No escape. And when the pressure hit, the general says he feels insulted. That's when this stopped being about immigration policy and became about something much bigger. What happens when military figures stop sounding neutral and start sounding political? Subscribe and let's dive in.
Yes,
You
sir.
believe in open borders, don't you?
I believe in the rule of law, sir.
Right. And it makes you angry that President Trump does not believe in open borders, doesn't it?
Senator, I'm not here to discuss immigration policy. I'm here to discuss whether or not we use the military to enforce it.
And it makes you angry that most Americans don't believe in open borders, doesn't it?
Not in the slightest, sir. Again, I am not here to discuss the immigration policy.
Yeah. Duty, honor, respect, you talked about that
Yes,
in
Senator.
your opening statement. On October 14th of this year, you went on CNN. I want to read you what you said, make sure I'm accurate. Here's what you said. President Trump is not like any sane leader. I'm very proud of General Milley for saying that President Trump is a total fascist. To Bob Woodward, if he as chairman of the Joint Chiefs is calling the president a fascist, I'm so proud of him for breaking that barrier. The challenge is because most MAGA Republicans, they don't understand what fascism is. The reality is that they are in fact fascists themselves. Did I read that accurately?
Senator, I am happy to discuss my personal perspectives with you separately at any time. That's not the purpose of the hearing today.
Did I read that accurately?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. You think you're smarter than the American people, don't you?
Absolutely not, Senator. I am here to discuss the use of the military as part of this mass deportation.
You think you're more virtuous than the American people, don't you, General?
Senator, I am insulted by your comment.
Duty, honor, and respect. You talked about that in your opening statement, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Moran said, I wrote down her words. She said, by their actions, you know what someone's character is like. You agree with that?
Senator, for 35 years, I served my country with absolute honor and distinction, and I will continue to do so.
You agree with what Ms. Moran said?
Of course.
Mr. We've got a few minutes left.
23 seconds.
Well, actually, you let Ms. Klobuchar go well over, so I'm assuming you'll extend me the
I'll
same.
give you the
courtesy.
same minute I gave to her.
You gave it a minute 20 at a time.
You're using.
I watch you like a hawk, Dick. Mr. Melnick, Mr. Reichland Melnick, you believe in open borders too, don't you?
I do not, Mr. Kennedy.
Okay. On November 1st, 2022, you tweeted, both Texas and Louisiana have their knives out for black immigrants. Do you remember that tweet?
I don't, but it's quite possible.
What Texans, it's not only possible, it happened. You're not denying it, are you?
No, I'm saying, referring to the
Texans?
context.
Who are
I
you
actually
talking
don't
to?
know the
Who
context.
are you talking to about who in Texas had their knives out for black immigrants?
Guessing the context, but my suspicion is
Give
that
me
it
a
has to
name.
do the
Give me a
Attorney
name.
General Ken Paxton and
Give
the
me a
Attorney
name.
General of
Give me a
Louisiana.
name.
I just did.
You don't have a name, do you?
I just said Ken Paxton.
You don't have a name, do you? You just said it, didn't you?
Just said Ken Paxton.
All right, how about Louisiana? You said Louisiana has its knives out for black immigrants. Who in Louisiana were you talking about?
Again, I'm not certain. That was 2 years ago, and as I'm sure you know, much has happened in the last 2 years.
Well, did you say it?
Again, I do not remember the context.
But you don't.
Senator
You
Kennedy.
said somebody had their knives out from Louisiana for black immigrants, but you don't know who they were. You just said it.
I said the Attorney General of Louisiana and Texas, and I believe this referred to specifically lawsuits brought and arguments that were made in court that the arrival of Haitians
I'm out
and
of time,
others
but I
were
want to get you
inherently
on the
dangerous,
record.
which was
You
not.
Thank you very much, Senator.
I believe
Appreciate
that the
your
Attorney
questions.
General at that time of Louisiana had his knives out for black immigrants. That's your testimony.
Given their
Thank you,
litigation
Senator Kennedy.
conduct, yes.
What you just watched wasn't really about immigration. It was about credibility, neutrality, and trust in American institutions. John Kennedy wasn't trying to debate policy details with the retired general. He was testing something deeper. Can someone present themselves as a neutral military authority after publicly labeling millions of Americans fascists? That's why Kennedy kept going back to the CNN interview. Because once the general confirmed those comments under oath, the entire dynamic changed. This stopped being, should the military enforce immigration policy? And became, can military leaders openly take political sides without damaging public trust? And here's the deeper strategic layer most people miss. America's military depends on legitimacy. Not just weapons. Not just power. Legitimacy. The moment large parts of the country begin seeing military figures as politically aligned, the institution itself risks losing the broad trust that makes it effective. That's dangerous territory for any country. Because once citizens believe institutions are choosing political tribes instead of remaining neutral, every future action gets filtered through suspicion. And that erosion doesn't happen overnight. It happens moment by moment, hearing by hearing, statement by statement. So the real issue here isn't one general's comments. It's whether America's institutions can stay trusted in an era where everything is becoming political. The real question is, when military leaders enter political warfare, does public confidence become collateral damage? Drop your opinions in the comments section. Like, share, and subscribe. No spin. No fluff. Just the agenda.